Yerp, salam, salam. Abdul Abbott. We got another one for you. Wallahi. I was just having a conversation with some brothers on an online platform. And the question was, you know, if Africa was together, even though if it had the same problems that it have right now, would you expatriate from your country and join the cause to help and or protect that new nation, continental Africa, including Madagascar, right? That's two military men. They told me their viewpoints on it. One of them was a British military, and the other one is U.S. Uh, the British one, off the rip, he said, his loyalty is to the crown. These both were black men. He said his loyalty was to the crown. You know what I'm saying? But then he started reasoning about how easy Africa would be to invade and how Ibrahim Traore. Nobody's talking about how they keep trying to kill him, and Africans aren't behind him due to religious reasonings, spiritual reasoning, and this is why a lot of people aren't even behind Ibrahim. So the mindset, out there, he's speaking about, these both like I said, both black men. His father, the British one's father, is actually a Hausa from Nigeria, um, and the American one was a black man. I think he was from like Ohio or something like that. I forgot. Shout out to them. Black man said he would help, but as long as they weren't communist or Muslim. Even his reaction to that goes back to the British brother when he said black people won't even go behind Ibrahim, just even though he's a military man, he knows what he's doing. The world wants the black man to be sleek and sexy, to wear a suit, to just have talents and things like that. They don't want a black man to wear a military uniform and say, "This is my shit." That's what he said. And the British brother, after he said that after the American brother. So, but even him saying that, he wasn't even talking about the American soldier. He was saying how black people won't go behind Ibrahim just because of spiritual beliefs, how idiotic that would be. Um, and he said you might as well just. He told the other brothers, he might as well just stay American. You know what I'm saying? And just do that. Um, but Ibrahim Traore is a symbol. He is definitely a symbol. So I say that to say this: the British brother was letting us know, you ain't playing with no play people. He said the daughter of Patrice Lumumba, famous revolutionary that was assassinated. He said they they put him in acid and gave his tooth back to his daughter. Like, here you go, his golden tooth. Yeah, savages. And the people that they turn to them, even if Gog and Magog will be used as the capitalism or the white power structure, white supremacy, um, what the world is under now, this spell, this Roman spell, this Greek machination, uh, even in on all that, you know, that would be Gog, would be that symbol of that, and Magog would be the people of that. So like the colors don't even matter no more at this point. It's your affiliation, your alignment, your mind. Anyways, let's check this out. This is called Killed and Dissolved in Sulfuric Acid, the story of the gruesome murder of Patrice Lumumba of the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Today is the assassination of the first prime minister of the country, Patrice Lumumba. He was not only killed, but his body was quickly destroyed in the most inhuman way. It was soaked in sulfuric acid. Several years after, the world still remembers this dastardly act. In this edition of Back in History, we bring to you the story of his arrest, his detention, torture, assassination, his burial in a shallow grave, the eventual exhumation of his body from the shallow grave, and the destruction of same in sulfuric acid. We also bring to you the confession that was made 38 years after by a retired police commissioner in Belgium who was involved in the assassination of Lumumba and in the destruction of his body. Welcome to this edition of
Now, this right here is the man that gets assassinated. You know, not a YouTube influencer. Okay, this is what this is a great man that got assassinated. All right,
Back in History.
a man that changed the world, not to fan the flames of white supremacists or suspected white supremacist ideologies. A man that tried to fight for the good. That man was assassinated. That other guy, he was murked.
The country now known as the Democratic Republic of Congo was first taken over as a conquered territory and personal estate by King Leopold II of Belgium. For more than 23 years, King Leopold took absolute charge of the Congo and harnessed its natural resources non-stop. He had zero tolerance to opposition. Any native Congolese who made any attempts to oppose the exploitation of the resources of the country was brutally dealt with. Some were killed, and some had their vital body parts, such as hands and legs, severed. The subjugation of the native people of the Congo, owners of the rich natural resources
No, he said severed. He said severed. Severed.
Of the country, was total and unrelenting. There were serious human rights concerns in the process, and the international community later came hard on the brutal domination of a whole country by one man. Eventually, King Leopold was compelled to abdicate his rulership of the Congo. Rather than leave the scene completely, he handed over the country to Belgium. This is how Belgium came in to become the colonial administrators of the Congo.
Dajjal, man. They use that Heidi Kum, that cunning, that illusion. Can I tell me this is not Yatjuj but Matjuj, Gog and Magog? These Germanic people groups.
Congo. Belgium then ruled Congo for several more years. Later in their history, some courageous native people of the Congo began to agitate for independence. One of the leading voices for the grant of independence to the Congo was Patrice Lumumba. Lumumba suffered arrest and detention for daring to call for independence, but he forged on, and eventually Congo was granted independence and Patrice Lumumba became its first prime minister. There was joy, there was jubilation, there was hope in the horizon, and everything looked bright for the new independent country of Congo. But in no time, Patrice Lumumba's government came under serious opposition from within the country and from outside the country. Some of the disturbances within the country were sponsored from outside. Patrice did his best to calm the situation.
I wonder from who?
But the more he tried, the more the opposition and civil disturbances increased. In no time, a coup was staged by his chief of army staff, Colonel Mobutu Sese Seko, and Lumumba was first placed under house arrest and later arrested and taken to the secessionist section of Congo, the Katanga region, where he was tortured, tied to the tree, shot, and killed. He was killed on 17th January 1961. At this time, Lumumba was only 35 years old. By this action, a dark cloud had encircled around the Congo. Nature was not happy. Several humans were not happy. There were protests everywhere in the Congo and across the world. A man who sacrificed so much for the independence of his country had just been killed in the most brutal manner. It was horrific. It was sad. It was inexplicable. Patrice was hurriedly buried in a shallow grave, and the executioners departed and went to their base. It is reported, however, that the following morning, the then Commissioner of Police, afraid of the creation of a burial site and place of pilgrimage for the lovers of Lumumba, ordered that the body of Lumumba be exhumed and dismembered. The body was exhumed and dismembered as commanded.
What the
The
fuck?
dismembered body was then soaked in sulfuric acid and dissolved beyond recognition and forever. This was the most barbaric part of the ending of the earthly life of Prime Minister Patrice Lumumba. By this action, the family members of the murdered Prime Minister did not see the body of their father to give a befitting burial. Everything had been dissolved in acid and poured to the ground. Nothing could be traced. Nothing could be taken home. The deed was so neatly and perfectly covered. For several years, there was no closure for family members. There was also no closure for the ardent.
Let's get this other sec queued up.
The relic of Patrice Lumumba, the first Prime Minister of DRC, who was assassinated by them in 1961 to the country on June 20th at an official ceremony in Brussels. The principle of this restitution demanded by the Lumumba family from the Belgian King Felipe has been accepted since 2020. However,
He still had his tooth, his golden tooth, this whole fucking time. I need you guys to internalize the mindset of the white supremacist power. Yet Juge will not Juge. These carnivorous people. The barbaric ones of the past and the neo Gog and Magog of today. Almost like when they say the Klan just turned in their white sheets for badges. It's the same beast. And of course, power, it would have sympathizers, slaves of it, willing and unwilling to this monstrous nation of peoples.
the ceremony has also been postponed several times, notably because of the coronavirus pandemic. The aim is to return the remains of Patrice Lumumba,
Postponed because of corona.
1925 to 1961, to his native country, in this case, a tooth recovered by the Belgian justice system from the
Recovered. They recovered his tooth.
family of a policeman who contributed to the disappearance of the body over 60 years ago. The Belgian policeman Gerard Surte, now deceased, also took with him other relics like hunting trophies and art from DRC. Only one tooth attributed to Lumumba was recovered by the federal prosecution.
These Yatrus were Matrus are thieves. This European and Asian nations, these superpowers, are monsters.
Prosecutor's office. A hero of independence in June 1960, Patrice Lumumba became the first.
When data comes at you fast, come up with answers even faster. Saspaya.
More than 6 decades after his assassination, the only known remains of Congolese independence hero Patrice Lumumba were finally laid to rest on home soil on Thursday. Hundreds gathered in a vast square in Kinshasa for the funeral, attended by family members including his daughter Juliana.
We are happy. After 61 years of mourning, I can say Daddy is home. And I think that the Congolese people are also happy. 61 years of mourning is a very long time.
The ceremony was held on the 62nd anniversary of Democratic Republic of Congo's independence from Belgium. On that day, Lumumba, the country's first democratically elected prime minister, had excoriated Congo's former colonial rulers. He also alarmed the West with overtures to Moscow at the height of the Cold War. His government lasted just 3 months before he was overthrown by Belgian-backed secessionist rebels. Lumumba was killed by a firing squad the following year.
She gotta be Ethiopian. But nah, seriously, that's crazy. And even just saying Belgium backed as if they didn't do this. Okay.
Supporters and some historians accused the CIA
It's monsters, no accountability.
of involvement. A Belgian parliamentary investigation in 2002 concluded that Belgium was morally responsible. Congo's president, Félix Tshisekedi.
C'est seulement après avoir dit la vérité,
It is only by saying the truth,
établi les responsabilités
by establishing responsibilities of each party, we can together,
congolais et belges,
Congolese and Belgian, begin the decisive process of forgiveness,
de la justice
justice, and true and complete reconciliation.
définitive.
Lumumba's body was never found, but a tooth was reportedly taken by the Belgian policeman who disposed of his remains. Belgium returned that tooth to Lumumba's family on June 20th. After Thursday's ceremony,
After 60 years.
a coffin carrying the remains was escorted to a mausoleum.
Yeah, man. To know your enemy, you gotta study them, man. This is the mindset of Yajuj or Majuj. Gotta spread the light of Islam to the world. Ahmadiyya, Jamaat to be exact. Wallahi. I like that.